Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for choosing to watch my video, and if you would subscribe it, like it, all that stuff, that'd be great. Otherwise, enjoy the video, and I hope it gives you the information you need and is helpful to you. Take care. Right in the middle of an alternator replacement for a 2012 Chrysler Town & Country 3.6 liter. Step one, you really want to disconnect the negative battery cable right here. 10 millimeter. Everything is left to loosen, right to tighten. Loosen it up. You should be able to pull it off, get it out of the way. And then for me, what I've done is take the air cleaner assembly out of here, 8 millimeter screw here, or 5/16 or a flat blade screwdriver. This comes off of the air cleaner assembly here, which I'll show you right here. Clips at the top of the air cleaner, right here. Clips, and then the 3 fingers, as you see there, fit. That's where the tube is. Clamp. Take this off. You can pull this out. This is basically just friction fit pins. As you see, pin, and then something's going to go in here, probably in the vehicle, and also power strain hose. For reservoir right here, 13 millimeter nut. So that's right here. Here's the power strain nut on the stud right there. I think the best thing that you've seen that I've got here is the bungee cord set up. Here's 2 wires. Go here. This pushes in and out. Red tab. Push it this way to release the security feature. And you push down on the tab to release it. Push this back on here. Push the tab over. And there's one more up. That fits right here onto there. This plugs in here. Just squeeze the tab here. Get this out of the way. Got the wire hose for the power strain out of the way. Everything's moved off nicely, giving us space for the tensioner on the alternator down here. And so we got this bungeed, then removed the filler neck right here, screws into place somehow here, like that. Now there's a tab which has broken off for us. You do have to lift the tab upward a little bit because it catches, of course, on there. So I don't know what kind of luck you're going to have, but the plastic over time just gets hard and brittle and breaks. So, but I think you have to lift it up and then it'll turn off. So there you go on that. So that's off, and then you can bungee this hose out of the way. Then you have access to the alternator. 2 13 millimeter bolts on the top, 13 millimeter nut for the battery positive connection, and then the plug-in down here as well. Ooh. Again, you gotta slide this red piece back. It's back. Gotta slide this back, and then you can push on the tab to release it. So that's off. And a 13 millimeter bolt nut in the back of the alternator. There's a cover on it. Remove the cover. And then there's a 13 millimeter stud nut on this side over here. Already got that nut off there, so get the belt off. Showed you the tensioner back there. You want to rotate the tensioner counterclockwise with a probably 3/8 ratchet will do the job. I'll show you that in a little bit, probably after taking the alternator out. But as you saw, I got the nut off. You get those 2 long screws out, and then I'll have a little more room to get the battery positive 13 millimeter nut off, and then we can rotate the alternator a little bit, and then we'll see about getting it out. Now there's been an update for the alternator, at least from Chrysler. I get a nice shield. This is actually a alternator and oiled shield. So got 2 new studs. Whoop. So we'll just bolt this in with our new bolt studs and tighten everything up on the alternator. Then we get to put this on, put our nuts on there. So that's how it's going to work. A new update from Mopar. A ratchet wrench, 13mm ratchet wrench to get the bolts out. Nothing too fancy. They're both loose and we'll just take them out. So I'm finding the alternator doesn't quite slide far enough to come off, just because of the tightness of these wires here. So we'll probably just get maybe a stubby 13mm wrench and take it off. Maybe pull this little wiring harness out as well, disconnect it here. Maybe pull this up, we'll see. Just doing this on the fly because my instructions are here. Say disconnect the battery positive and disconnect the field wire and then remove 2 bolts and nut apparently and take it out, and this is not right. So I pulled up and dropped down the coolant reservoir jug. It fits in some slots. And push a tab here so this can slide up. Push the tab here so this can slide up. It's over the tab now. We'll disconnect this. Love the red retainers. Slide it back and we'll push this and disconnect it. If I can do it with one hand. Ooh. Oh, the tabs snap back, see? Just like that. I'm going to disconnect that and then we'll slide this out, hopefully. Pull the wiring harness out of here as well so we can get the cooling fan out. Another plug-in down here for the fan. Dang it. So we'll get that plug in as well on the fan. And disconnect that, get the harness out of here. I think they are going to make me lose some coolant here to get this assembly out. Squeeze the clamp, remove the hose. Have to refill it, of course, at the radiator when the time comes. Right there, I'm going to fight a little bit more, but if it doesn't come out, I'll take the hose off. I do have a bucket down there to catch the coolant. Still a tight fit to get around here. I took this off of here. So I'd have a little more flexibility here. Very stiff. Now we have good room to get to our alternator 13mm nut, and then we can slide the alternator out of here. You want to be careful about the fins on here. You don't want to go crazy yanking this up and destroying a bunch of this. I mean, you can hit it and do a little bit, but these little rows here where the coolant flows, so you want to be careful of that. So we're bumping on this plastic piece, so I probably will unsnap it from its position. Looks like there's 2 plastic pins there. Oh, my little plastic piece fell off, so we'll probably just pull this off. There we go. Give us a little bit of room we need. Of course, though, you want to be careful with that terminal. You're not jamming it in the radiator. I was fighting pushing this a little bit to get it out of the way. The air conditioning hose was a little bit in the way, so I was pushing that out of the way. So maybe we'll see if we can bungee this up a little bit. We'll disconnect it and see if we can get it up a little higher, out of the way. Maybe have someone pull the dipstick a little bit out of the way too. Might help. So there you go. Reverse procedure to install. I'm sure I'll show you some other things here, and belt tension. I pulled up on this, and then you can push the radiator in a little bit. I mean, a couple millimeters, 3 millimeters maybe. but it might give you just a little extra space if you choose. It did drop in pretty much straight the way you see it. It's pretty nice having this free, and also the radiator I think did help, even that 3 millimeters, whatever it is. So it's basically ready to install with our new bolts and shield. Put things back together. A friction fit here for the hose clamp, and you can see the markings on this hose. If you're going to reuse your clamp, try and do your best to put the clamp in the exact same spot. Have seen leaks when the clamp's not in the exact same spot. Little tip. My 3/8 ratchet down there. It's a longer one. That's really all you have to do to loosen the belt tension, to get the belt off. Do that. So we'll put our belt back on. And then we'll put the negative battery cable connector back on and put the rest back together here. All I can really tell you is that belt is a pain in the butt. I would recommend drawing yourself a picture. You might be able to get some more access maybe from the wheel well, or second set of hands down there might help. So there's a pulley down there underneath there, and watch out for this here. You might just pop that off. Because it can get you and bite you. So, but the belt is on. You might want to pick up a special tool, belt removal tool kit at your local parts store. They're doing more and more and lending more tools out, so that'll be something to think about. Adding a little coolant to it as I go. There's the friction fit there, and a knob down there for a little air cleaner assembly. You can see it slides on that tube there. Make sure those teeth get in the slots. They'll cause you problems for snapping it down if they don't. Tighten that down. Tighten that down. Got our battery positive. Replace the battery, so we got both of those. Boom. And tighten on the 10 millimeters, and that'll be that. We'll start it up and hopefully be having some nice 14-volt charging and all that good stuff. So run it for a while because we did lose some coolant, so we'll top that off as needed. Just add a nice 50-50 mix of coolant. You start it up and run it. Add some till it's full. Put the cap on. Double check your fluid level here. There's probably a minimum and maximum down there. Just make sure it's up to the maximum. Maybe take it for a test drive. 7 or 8 miles. Turn the heat on. Make sure you get good heat in there. You should be fine. Let it sit an hour or two. Come back and check your coolant level. And top it off as needed. Has 2 steps. So, step 1, step 2. So, that's it. Replacing your alternator on your 2012 3.6 liter Chrysler Town & Country. If this looks like what's underneath your hood, it's probably going to work for you.